Hello, Old Gun Guy here. Today's video I'm going to do a handgun. Kind of an unusual, one you might not see every day. It's over 100 years old. It's a Mauser Model 1910 semi-automatic pistol, 9-shot pistol. It's in the class of pocket pistols. The 1910 was made in 25 ACP or 6.35 Browning. I go into that history, a little bit of history of the cartridge. These pistols, it's probably 500,000 or more were manufactured over its run. They came out with a 1914 model. It was in 32 ACP or 7.65 Browning. I'll go into the cartridge first. The diminutive 25 is an old box of Western, 25 ACP. 1902, John Browning designed the 25 ACP or 6.35 Browning cartridge for the Fabrique Nationale's Baby Browning 25 ACP pistol. In the early part of the 20th century, pocket pistols were very popular. A small size, most of them were 22 rimfire, and Browning wants something a little more reliable in the same power class and size pistols he could make, so he invented the 25 ACP cartridge. Well, actually the 6.35 Browning in 1902. It made its way into the U.S. in 1908 with the Colts. Also Browning designed 1908 vest pocket 25 auto pistol. But here's the cartridge, and it is a centerfire. You see the primer. Primer almost takes up the whole base, the whole head of the case. Tiny little 50 grain round, full metal jacket round nose projectile. Generally, it'll leave a 2-inch barreled 25 at about 750 feet per second. There's been millions of 25 ACP pistols manufactured. Today, it's getting less and less. Beretta might still manufacture the Tomcat in 25 ACP, but there's been, many manufacturers produce pocket pistols. In today's environment, they have some scaled down 380 and 32 ACP pistols that are small, as small as the original 25 ACPs were. This particular pistol, this Mauser, very finely machined and built handgun. It's a little bit bigger than a standard pocket pistol, but it's still it fits in your hand. It has a slightly longer barrel, about 3.5 inch, 3.25 inch barrel than the typical tiny 25 ACP. Unusual design. It's a striker-fired single action semi-automatic pistol. It means as a striker there's no hammer. On the rear of the pistol, this pistol's cocked, been cleared, obviously there's no ammunition in it. You see the back of the firing pin protrude from the rear of the slide. It's like a loaded chamber indicator. It has a heel mounted magazine release, typical of European guns, and that magazine would come out. I have to show up on camera, but you see the Mauser logo on it. Has nice little walnut grips, smooth. It's very well made, very well machined, very reliable. In fact, I don't know if it shows up on the right side of the slide. It says Mauser 6.35. That's the caliber, and obviously Mauser logo on the pistol. And to read it, the little print, obviously their factory in Obendorf, Germany, Mauser AG Obendorf. This is probably made about 1916 or so, or 17 through the serial number range. Like I said, they come out with the exact same pistol, a little larger, mechanically identical, the 1914. And they continue producing this, I think, until the mid-30s, 1934, I think. The cartridge itself, very controversial. It's semi-rimmed. It's got disassembly of this for the field strip. The field strip's without tools. It's pretty simple to field strip, ingenious little design. Before I do the shooting test. The shooting test, I'm going to chronograph it, the 25 ACP ammo. I have some American Eagle, old American Eagle 25 ACP. I got some really old, probably 50-year-old Western Super X 25 ACP cartridges. I have some of these, yeah, I think these are reloads, Safari Supply. Got in a gun show a number of years back. Been sitting around. Alright, let's go through the disassembly. You need the magazine to disassemble a pistol. That's another feature I'm going to show you. This is the safety. It's kind of strange. I'll show you how it works first before we take the gun apart. Safety and safety release button. When you push the magazine in, it automatically charges the pistol and cocks the striker. If you put the safety on, push down, the safety's on. Push down on this lever. When you release it, push down again. That's safe. And then if I push the safety release lever, this little button, you can fire it. Alright, I just dry fired it. To take the gun apart, you must have the magazine inserted. You bring it all the way back till it locks. There's a little tab under here, a little button. You got to push it in. I'll do it this way. Push it in and rotate this piece. We're going to have the pistol be clockwise, 90 degrees, and then pull out the rod. It's a little stiff. Alright, that's the spring guide rod. Comes out of the pistol. Next, you just turn the pistol this way, pull the barrel straight out. It comes straight out of the receiver. You can clean it like that. Now to take the slide off the frame, you have to pull the magazine out a little bit, hold the slide, push it in, it starts releasing, it takes another finger, you have to kind of pull the slide out, pull the magazine out a little bit, and you can run the slide off the frame. And it's striker fired, is your striker. You don't want to kick that loose. You can take it apart if you want, it's not necessary to clean it. That's basically the frame. There's the recoil spring and guide rod, comes out of the bottom of the slide. That's it, there's nothing in the slide. Comes apart really simple. Put it back together. Put the spring back in it. Guide rod in the spring. The slide doesn't start to run until about here. Just run it on the rails. And bring it back. Push the magazine in. All the way in. You pull the slide all the way back. Now it's back on and locked. Obviously, you put the barrel in, and it goes in one way. There's a round protrusion. Goes straight down into the frame. Push it straight in, now it's in. Next, the guide rod gets inserted. The secondary guide rod, I guess it is. Push it in until it's flush and rotate it. You have to push the little button in underneath until it's 90 degrees like that. And that's it to reassemble this pistol. Very finely machined and made. And it's a fun little gun to shoot. But we'll leave it open for now. Gonna go up to the chronograph first, and then I'll do the little energy comparison ballistic pendulums, or the recoil comparison first. Chronograph, recoil comparison, I use a 22 Ruger. This has negligible recoil also. You don't see much difference. The close up on the camera. The ballistic pendulums. An accuracy target. I'll shoot offhand at 10 yards max, because this is a pocket gun. On my old police business nomenclature, belly gun. Do the accuracy test, terminal effects test. 3/4 inch piece of plywood, similar in a bone. Projectile will go through a 3/4 inch piece of plywood. It's lethal. I'm going to do it two ways. A 6-inch, milk jug filled with water in front of the plywood, and then the plywood first followed in a milk jug, and see if there's any difference there. Like I said, it's a very low power cartridge. People poo-poo it, but I was at a few homicides over the years in my police career with people killed with 25 ACP handguns. Is it a man stopper? No. Is it my first choice for self-defense? No. If you'd inherit one of these, your uncle died or your aunt left this to you, and you're not a gun person, could you defend yourself with this? Yes. Could you carry it? It's got safety. You'd have to really practice with this piece of equipment to safely carry it. But it wouldn't be my first choice. But like the American Rifleman, the magazine with the NRA, they have the armed citizen section every month. Or a gun deterred or saved someone's life. And frequently, even something like this, criminals are cowards and nobody likes getting shot. And they run away. It affects basically a psychological stop unless you hit them in the brain or a central nervous system or right in the heart. That said, it's basically its main purpose, not target pistol. It's for defense, close range, personal protection against human adversaries trying to harm you. That's what it was designed for. And a small gun like this, many people would carry, rather than a big 45 that you leave home. If you had this on you and your big cannon at home, this is the thing that might save your life. Like I said, it's not my first choice, but very low recoil, very low powered. But there it is. We're going to go to the test now, so I'll pause this and start setting things up. All right, set up on a chronograph. We're going to do the first 3 shots are going to be American Eagle Federal ammunition, and the second 3 shots will be the old 50-year-old Western Super X ammunition. I'm going to zoom in on the chronograph and see the shots for yourself. Okay, I'm good to go. That was the Federal. I had one error. Let me reset this. And the next 3 are going to be the 50-year-old Western Super X ammo. And the Super X is a lot hotter than the Federal, American Eagle. And that'll be our chronograph demo. We're going to the energy figures in the summary. Alright, now the comparative recoil test. First up, the 22 Ruger. Up it close. There we go. And now the Mauser. and very little recoil. That'll conclude the comparative recoil test. Okay, a little energy comparison test. Ruger Mark II 22 long rifle, center plate 2 shots, and Mauser 2 shots on the right plate. I'll zoom in on it. Let me get going. Okay, first up the Ruger. And now the 1910 Mauser, right plate. And as we can see, not much difference. Perhaps a little bit more with the 50 grain 25 ACP. Okay, back here. I'm going to put 5 shots from 10 yards offhand. That'll be my aiming point, that center dot. And I'll do another 5 actually back shooting on the gun so you can see it in action. 5 shots. Let me zoom in on the target. Let me see what's going on. Okay, I had one little stoppage in there. Had to clear it real quick. I was aiming here, so it's about 2 inches high, 10 yards. Still in the boiler work, still in the A zone. I pulled this piece of paper off. So I gotta load another 5 up and have me shooting the gun on camera. Alright, I'm gonna try and get in a frame here shooting this. I'm a little closer in this to 10 yards, but it's very hard with the sun. I shot the first group at 10, this is going to be like 7. And 2 stoppages, but that was with that Safari reloaded ammo. I just want to try some of that, but walk up on a target. And there you have it. Them shots will center miss enough to get the job done, and that'll be our accuracy demonstration. And we'll cover that in the summary. Next is terminal effects test. Okay, terminal effects test. I got a previously shot 3/4 inch piece of plywood in front of the first water jug. This white tape is covering the hole. My aiming point is going to be the little black piece of tape. And I only got it on a little table with 2 water jugs because I don't think any more will be required. I'm going to back this up. Zoom in so we don't splash the camera. I have a piece of 1x8 pressure treated, that's 3/4 inch too, behind the second jug, and I'm going to use the Winchester or the Western Super X ammunition. I'm going to do it with the plywood first, and then I'm going to do plywood sandwiched between the water jugs. So you put the round in, take the safety off, put my ears on. Okay, obviously it went through the plywood and through the water jug. Let me just zoom this out, and I'm going to clean this up and try and recover the projectile. We'll see where it went. Okay, pretty surprising for that little bullet. It went through actually 2 water jugs. It's impregnated in a piece of 1x8 I had at the rear. You see the base of the bullet in there. I'm going to try and dig it out. This is the second water jug. You see the little tiny hole in it. This is the first piece of plywood. That's the entrance. That's the exit. Went completely through that. And obviously, you saw in the video, it drilled straight through the first water jug. So, 25 ACP is definitely a lethal round, as that would demonstrate. Ballistic gel is 90% water, so this is 100% water. So you basically went through 12 inches of water. 3/4 inch piece of plywood, and it's lodged in the second piece of wood. I'm going to shut the camera off. I'm going to set the test up with 2 more water jugs, and I'm going to put the 3/4 inch ply between the water jugs and the 1x8 on the back, but I'll mark it so I can explain it later in the summary. Okay, I'm back. I set it up with the water jug first, 3/4 inch piece of plywood, second water jug, the 1x8. I've shifted the boards around so the bullet won't strike in the same area. And the water jug that had a hole in it, it's got enough water in it to hold the board upright. I'll zoom in on that and we'll try one shot this way. Okay. Okay, with the water jug first, turn it around there, went through the water jug, did not penetrate the plywood. You see a little mark, that's about it. So I don't see it in the water jug, unless it bounce back in there. I lost the projectile. Let me back this out. And that'll be it for a ballistic thermal effect test. Obviously the plywood, the first shot, went completely through this, 2 water jugs and into the wood. This water jug split, the bullet exited. No projectile. Just a little mark on the plywood. And, I'm going to run one more little video clip before I do the summary, and that'll be me shooting the pistol 5-6 shots, just offhand, just to show it in action. So let me load the pistol and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I got this loaded with 10 shots. There's 1 in the chamber, 9 in the magazine. The total capacity when you load it like that is 10 rounds. I'm going to take the safety off, push this button in, it releases, and I'm going to shoot the 10 shots. There we have it. That was that reloaded ammunition that I got in the gun show. Just didn't mind burning it up. Had one slight failure to feed, but I shot my burn barrel over there. And, the group was pretty tight for 10 yards. And that's it. We'll go to the summary now. Okay, I'm back for the summary. What can we say about this 25 ACP cartridge? It's very small, very low powered, low recoil. It has a track record of being involved in a lot of shootings over decades and a century. Very popular in the early 20th century, little pocket pistols. What can I say about this Mauser? It's finely made, finely machined pistol. If you walk into a used gun shop or pawn shop or something and you run across this and it strikes your fancy, it's a fine little pistol. People have defended themselves with such diminutive pistols over the many decades and even today. Anyone who's semi-advanced in the use of firearms, obviously it wouldn't be their first choice. It could serve as a backup weapon if you happen to be carrying 2 weapons. But the sights on this pistol are a little bit better than the average pocket pistol, although they're still fine. You can see you got a big front sight blade, and then the rear sight, front sight fixed to the barrel. The first test we ran was the Chronograph, and I used Federal American Eagle 50 grain full metal jacket projectile, and I did 3 shots, only 2 of them come true, but the average was 767 feet per second, and that translates to 65 foot-pounds of energy. The diminutive load 6.35 millimeter or 25 ACP. The Western X, this ammunition, like I said, probably about 50 years old. It was a little hotter. Velocity averaged 810 feet per second and 73 foot-pounds of energy. And that's typical for the 25 ACP. I did have some stoppages, but that was using the reloaded ammo I bought at the gun show. Every 4 or 5 shots I would get it must have been very underloaded. It was just about cycling the gun. But for the ballistic terminal effect test, I used the Winchester and the Federal, for the accuracy test. We did the accuracy test next, 10 yards, 30 feet. More than acceptable group for a tiny diminutive pocket pistol. I fired 5 with the camera zoomed on the target, and then I fired another 5 with the camera zoomed on the whole scene, me shooting the gun at the target. I had to be a little closer due to the sun, so it was like 7 yards when I shot the second group. But this is the target. They're all in there. You can cover your hand with them. If you look at the back of the target, they're all in yay zone. A little corrugated protrusion marking the yay zone on this specific target. It's more than acceptable accuracy inside your house. Like I said, it's a close range, personal protection, defensive weapon. And with a little practice, like every firearm you should own, you should practice, make yourself familiar with it, including the safety system on it, which is a little odd, but I guess advanced, 100 years ago. We did the ballistic pendulum test, the 8-inch steel plates, 22 Ruger target pistol versus the 25. Obviously, they're almost the same in energy. Striking a plate, the 25 ACP has a 10 grain heavier projectile, 50 grains versus 40, but neither one is a powerhouse. But like I said, over my police career, I've seen quite a few homicides with 25s. Not always apparent what people were shot with, unless the gun or the shell casings were at the scene. But when the autopsy come back, that's what they recovered. Did the comparative recoil test. Not much recoil from this little pistol. Same as the Ruger. Shot it at the terminal effects target. The first target I did, I put the 3/4 inch piece of plywood in front of the 6 inches of water. They're 1 gallon milk jugs or iced tea jugs filled with water. The second water jug for 12 inches of water and a piece of 1x8 in the back. So the first test, punched clean through the plywood, punched through the first jug, punched through the second jug, and was lodged in the in this piece of 1x8 right to the base. I was able to dig the bullet out. I'll put it on top of the case. I'll turn it upside down. It'll show up. That's the projectile. It's basically no deformation at all. You could reload this into the case and fire it again if you wanted to. I don't know if it'll sit in a case like that, but it's a little easier to see in the case. The crimping groove and the little FMJ projectile. If I were to use this in some type of defensive role, I wouldn't use any premium ammunition or hollow points or flex tip. I mean, Hornady makes a 35 grain flex tip. These little calibers, penetration trumps all. The FBI since set defensive standards, they want a handgun round to penetrate 12 inches, no more than 18 inches in the ballistic gel medium after passing through 4 layers of clothing. Obviously, a full metal jacket round is going to go through the full metal, through the clothing. But such a diminutive caliber, you're going to have to put holes in the boiler works if you're using this to save your life in some type of defensive role. That said, it's more likely to produce a psychological stop. The person getting shot with this is going to stop fighting and run away. Of course, if you run into somebody determined to kill you, and this is not going to stop unless you strike them in the brain or the central nervous system. Can you blink with this gun? Sure. Was that what it was designed for? No. But it's a very finely made little pistol. If you should inherit one and come across it, you'll enjoy shooting it. And the 25 ACP ammo is still pretty much readily available. Mostly you're going to run across full metal jacket loads, and that's all you really should be shooting out of this. The last sequence I did, I shot 10 shots. The gun holds 9, and I put one in the chamber and reload it, top the magazine off, so there's 10 shots in it. From about 10 yards, I shot a 55-gallon steel drum. You couldn't see that on a camera, but all the projectiles went through both sides of the drum. So it's not a toy. You may see people that, you're just going to make people mad if you shoot them with this. That's nonsensical talk. It will kill. Like I said, the handguns are tools, all firearms are tools. This is a personal protection tool. Something small and convenient. Like I said, not my first choice, but better than nothing. With that, if you like these videos, like them and subscribe and motivate me to make more. I'll either do a shotgun or rifle next. I'm just getting the hang of this new computer I got, new laptop, because the other one was crapped out on me. But that's all I got for today. Old gun guy, signing off.